All right, solving systems algebraically. The first definition I have for you is substitution. Okay? Substitution. It's replacing with what you know and then solving. Replacing with what you know. In Algebra 1, they call this solving with substitution or solving by substitution. So, if you hear algebraically and substitution, pretty much means the same thing. But you will do this next year. Probably like one of the first chapters of the book. Okay? So substituting is taking something, putting something in, and getting something out. Like we talked about functions, put something in, get something out. All of your things that you are solving today are like systems. Remember when we graphed systems, it was giving you two equations and you graphed them. Where they met, that was your answer. Remember that? Okay, so you're going to have two systems again, and your answer is always going to be in an ordered pair again. Sound good? And then remember, what you put in for x, you get out for y, and both the same. Remember, that's how why we solve systems. You find something you can put in for x, and it comes out for both y's. Okay? So first of all, we're going to start simple. Sound good? This is how we're going to start. So here's my systems. I have two right here, this one and this one. Okay? Now, if you want, all your answers are going to be in ordered pairs. You can start that way. Now, we're lucky, because in our system, we already know what x or y is. What do we know already? What do we know? Which one? X or y? Y. See how one of them says y equals 3? Okay, so we already know what our y spot is. Okay, we already know what our y spot is. Then, to solve for your x, you're going to take your y, and you're going to put it in for y in this equation. So it's going to be 3 equals x plus 5. Well, how do you solve this then? Do you remember? What are you going to do? What? Subtract what?
-3.
Not 3. If I'm -3, I take something off that side.
-5.
I got -5 from both sides, remember? If I take 3, I can't because that leaves me nothing on this side. So -5, -5. What's x going to be? -2. That would be my answer for this solution, or for this set. Yeah, for this type of system, yes. For this type of system. They're not always going to be like this. Remember when we graphed, some were like this, and then another one was maybe like this? Remember we had to graph both of these times, and we're going to get to a point where they're both looking like this. Okay? So, try this one. See if you can do this one by yourself. Okay, solve this. You're still going to have x and y. X, y. You're already given something here. And see if you can solve for what that x would be. This is the substitution where you're substituting, put something for y. I'm going to see what you come out with. Okay, so what's your y? You know that one, right? Yeah, that's a given. So then you're going to take this and put it up here. So it's going to be 2 equals 3x plus 4. Does anybody remember how to solve this two-step equation? Do you remember? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, how would you solve this? Do you remember? Add 4 both sides, right? Plus 4, plus 4. I get 6 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X is going to be what? 2. That would have been the answer for this one. I'm going to give you one more like this. I want you to try it, okay? I'm going to give you one more. Oops. Let's do y equals 2x plus 1. We'll have an x equals 3 this time. And x this time. Okay, this time don't forget you're putting this in for what? Up here, and you're solving. Okay, so make sure you know which one you're putting it in. All right, anybody want to share? Which one's the given? X, right? Okay, so read it there. And then how do we solve next? Now what am I going to do? What am I going to put this in for? Up here. So it's going to look like this. And it's going to be 6, 7. Should be 37. Sound good? Okay. Any questions on these types? Like I said, this is the easiest type you're going to see. Ready to try some of the harder stuff? Bring it on, right? Bring it on. Okay, so my next slide is a whole bunch of steps. I want you to write the steps down. Having the steps will help you know what you have to do next. There's only 4 of them. When you're done, I will talk about them. Okay, go ahead and solve. Or solve, what am I saying? Right. All right, so like I said, if you can do this, and we're going to practice it today and tomorrow, you can do anything this year, okay? If you think back to when we graphed, we were given 2 systems. Usually it was like y equals 3x plus 5, and the other one was y equals 2x plus 9. You had to graph them both. Now, when I flip the slide here, it's going to be two equations like that. Some of them are going to be in y equals mx plus b form, some of them aren't. We have to at least get one into y equals mx plus b form. That's my first step. Okay, we have to get one there, the easiest one. So you might have to look and say, okay, this looks easy, but probably there's always going to be one that's going to be the best one to take. And I'll show you kind of how to figure that out. Anybody still need this yet? All right, so here's an example. Okay, so I have y minus 3x. That should not be 2 equal signs in there, by the way. My other class, I didn't notice that there were 2 equal signs, and they all freaked out. Okay, that's what it should look like. So y minus 3x equals negative 13, or 4x plus 5y equals 11. So which one up there do you think would be the easiest one to turn to y equals mx plus b? The second one. You think the second one? I would say no. I would say the first one. I would just say why do you think I would say the first one would be easiest?
Oh, because there's no.
There's nothing with y. If there's nothing with y, you're never going to have to divide, right? If there's something with y, you're going to have to divide it all. So that would be the first thing I would look at. And then the second thing I would look at is say, okay, if there's a number with y, is it going to divide some of those numbers evenly? Like 6 and 2 would divide the 3. Like I'm looking for things that are going to divide nicely. But in this case, I'm going to change this one because there's nothing with y. So this is the one I'm going to change to y because I'm supposed to be. If you look on your sheet, that's the first step that you got to do. If you don't remember, you're going to add 3x, and you're going to add 3x, and then it's going to look like this. So I'm going to make it so it's in that x first and then that b form second. So I just flip the things around. Shouldn't need you to do that. Like this. That's rewriting it. Okay, so you got the first step done. Okay, so what's the next step, Sandy? Really read it to me. What's the next step, Sandy?
You substitute in for y in the other equation.
Okay, so if I know this is y, I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to put it in for y here. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like now. 4x plus 5, and then parentheses, everything I have up there, equals 11. So I took what I put up here, and I'm substituting it in for this y here. Now this is what it looks like. Okay. Now you have to think back to the eighth chapter where we did, stuff on both sides, stuff on the same side. How do we start to solve? So if I look at this, what would be the first thing in here that I would have to do, Haley? Distributed property. You're right. Now, excuse me, are you always going to have to do distributed property? Probably not. And I'll show you some examples of that, but most likely you're going to have some kind of distributing going on. So if you don't remember, you take your 5, positive 5 times 3x, would be 15x. And then positive 5 times negative 13, which would be a negative 65, I believe. And then you're going to bring everything else down that you didn't use. So plus 4x, and then equals 11. So all I did was I just distributed 5 times 3 and 5 times 13, and this is what it came out to be. As soon as I distribute, that 5 goes away. 5x times 3, 15, 5x times 13, negative 65. Okay? Now what? What can I do next? Just keep solving. Yeah? Yeah, let's put these together. To be 19x minus 65 equals 11. Now what? Two-step equation. What am I going to do next? Add 65. Is that what you're going to say? Perfect. Let's do that. So you seriously have to think of everything we ever learned. If you didn't know, you're probably starting to figure out that everything we learned is starting to pile on top of each other. Okay, so then I have 19x equals 76. And believe it or not, 19 goes into 76 perfectly. Divide by 19, divide by 19, x is going to be 4. Okay? Can you see why I said this is one of the hardest things we do? Because we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Remember I said that your answer has to be in, what do we call it? Order pair form. You only have x. Now we have to figure out what y is. Oh, this is part 4. What? Now, all right. So this is what you do. Very simple. Okay. So let's go back. We know x was, what did we say it was 4? We got to find what y we get. Well, how can we find what x is? Very simple. You're going to go back to the beginning where you change y equals mx plus b right here. And you're going to take that x and you're going to put it in up here. So it would be 3 times 4 minus 13 equals whatever that y is. So what's 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 13, negative 1. That's what it is. So the x is the hardest thing to find. And I'll talk about it again if you want me to do that. I'm going to go back to where I changed y equals mx plus b. I'm going to take that x that I found and I'm going to substitute it and I'm going to put it in there. Then I'm going to solve. 3 times 4 is 12 minus 13 would be negative 1. Y would be negative 1 then. And I'm done. Yeah, I told you, it's tricky. It's just long. That's all. But you can do it. You know you can do it. Have a good attitude because everybody's in the same boat right now. I told you I will help you. We'll do it again today. We'll do it tomorrow. If we need to do it Thursday, we'll do it Thursday. I don't care. But I want to make sure that you kind of have some idea of how to do it. Okay? Geez, Kara, don't give me the look of death. I'm just trying to help you. Just trying to help. All right, let's try another one. Let's try another one. Okay? I'm just trying to help you for next year. That's all. 3x plus 2y equals 30. And x minus 2y equals negative 6. Which one should we change? I think the second one. It's fine. We can change the second one. Here's the good news though. If somebody would change the first one, and if you do everything right, we should come up with the same answer. So it doesn't matter which one you change. I just suggest looking for the easiest one. But whatever you change, if we do our math correctly, it should come up with the right answer. All right, so let's change this one. That's what Kale decided. Okay, I'm going to put a 1 in front of that x to help me out. Okay, I'm going to minus 1x. I'm going to minus 1x. So it's going to look like negative 2y equals negative 1x minus 6. I just flipped it around. Okay. Then what? Divide by negative 2, correct? Okay, so here's our y equals unexplicit formula. Y equals, now if I'm dividing by 2 negatives, what can I can just keep it like this. 2 negatives, negative positive. And I'm going to keep it in fraction format, because remember slope is always fraction. And then negative 6 divided by negative 2, positive 3. Yeah. Okay, good. That's step 1. Done. Now, what am I going to do with this? Do you remember? What am I going to do with this right here? I'm going to take it and put it where? In it for y up here. Because this is the one I changed. I'm going to go put it into this one. So it'll be 3x plus 2 parentheses. I'm put it in for this right here. Half x plus 3 equals 30. So if you want, I'll draw some arrows. I'm going to put it in up here. Pretend that's an arrow. Pretend that looks good. Okay, now we can do our distributive property. 2 times half x would be 1x. And 2 times 3 would be 6. So this is what would look like after I do my distributing. You want to go from there and see if you can figure it out? Stop for your x. Combine what you can combine. See if you can finish it. Does anybody get what x is? Okay, let's just talk about that. What do we get what x is? Okay. 6, yeah, x is 6. Good job. Okay, so that's part of our. Okay, good job. So let's say, I'll just write the order here, x was 6. Now, how do I find my y again? Does anybody remember what I do next to find my missing y, Ella? I'm going to put it in here, because that's going to help me solve for this thing. So I'll write it in different colors. So we have x, or actually half 6. Because I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it here then. Plus 3. Half of 6 is 3 plus 3. 6. That's the answer. 6, 6. If you would graph this on a graph, that's where the points would meet on the graph. 6, 6. How are we doing? So far, so good? Takes a long time, doesn't it? Takes a long time. But you can handle it. I know you can. Let's do one more that has some numbers to it. Let's do one more that has some numbers to it. You want to try one yourself that has some numbers? Yes? Let's do it. Let's do it. Try this one. 5x plus y equals 8, and negative 1x plus y equals negative 4. Go ahead. Should we all change the same one? Okay, which one you guys want to change? Want to change the top one? Okay, change the top one. Either one's gonna work fine. So everybody decided to change the top one. That way if I do it up here, we can all have the same work. And if I were you, I'm gonna put one here too. I'm gonna put one there too. I'm gonna do it on a piece of paper. You're gonna have to do some keep change changing. You're gonna have to do some keep change changing probably. If you're stuck, that's okay. If you're stuck, it's okay. Let's do this. Did you have the first part messed up? Okay, it's just practice. I mean, I don't expect it to be perfect because this is totally new. I get it. Do your best. Good. Some of us are doing pretty good. Some of us forgot a negative sign. That negative sign will throw you off. Yeah.
So for the, you change it, I had positive 5.
No, it should have been negative because if I need to get y by itself, I got a minus 5y from both sides, or 5x. I got a minus 5x from both sides, so I have to change these two things around, so it should have been a negative 5x.
I had that, but I thought it really didn't matter.
Oh, it matters. It matters. Yep, you're not the only one that did that. There's others that did that as well. I just heard a collective sigh. That means other people also did that. That's what Kale did, I think, too, at the beginning. I don't know. Do your best. That's all I'm asking. All I'm asking. It's tricky, I know. I would have said this is the hardest lesson in the book if I didn't know. All right, do you want me to start? Do you want to wait? What would you like me to do? Start, wait, people were, you want me to try? Okay, so let's see here. This is what your y was, right? Should have been. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to insert it in for this y right here. Now, I didn't start with a y. Okay, I'm just going to take that whole thing and put it here. So it'd be like this, 1x plus negative 5x plus 8 equals negative 4. So far, so good? I did not have to do any distributing. If this would have been a minus y, I would have put a 1 there and I would have had to distribute the negative through the whole thing, but it's not a negative, so I'll worry about that. I'm going to put this together. So negative 6x plus 8 equals negative 4. I get a minus 8 from both sides. I have to keep change. So negative 6x equals negative 12, divide by, x is going to be just 2. Okay? If you didn't keep that negative with that 5, you probably were in trouble. I think some of you had 1 then if you solve for x, I think. What's the matter, Haley?
It doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
I don't know, it's just confusing.
It is confusing. I agree. So tell me what you're messed up on.
Well, my answer was wrong, so I was just.
Well, I think it was wrong because you forgot that negative 5. That was going to throw everything off. Do you want me to go back and redo?
No.
You gotta tell me, because I'm up for anything. Okay, so then, if x is 2, what am I going to do next? Put it back up there, right? So, it'll be negative 5 times 2 plus 8, be negative 10 plus 8. Y is going to be negative 2. It's going to be 2 and negative 2 is what it will look like. Do you want to try another by yourself? Let's try another by yourself. Yeah, let's do it. I'm up for whatever. I just want to make sure you guys get it. That's all. All right, try this one. 3x plus 2y equals 30. Did we do this one already? And then, did we do this one as an example? Okay, I'll find a different one. I don't give me very good ones that have numbers as answers. Let's go back. Okay, let's try this one. Y. I'll give you one already that's in Y because I'm supposed to be conformed, so you don't have to do it. Okay, one's already in the format for you. X plus Y. Okay, there you go. This one's already done for you. You can do it. This one's already in the format for you, so that's when it's done. So where are you going to take this and put it? You're going to put it down for your first this. I don't care if you talk to somebody about it beside you. I don't care. Talk to somebody if you need help. Get up to go see somebody if you're not sure. Somebody needs help. Go help them. Need help again? We'll see. Yeah. Help each other out. All right, find your seat. Unless you're really hoping somebody then stay, that's fine. It's tricky, I know, but I know, it's tricky. That's always the bad news you have to deliver. Yeah, you're only half. Yes. Yes. Yeah, got it. It does, I know, but seriously, have a good attitude about it, you guys, because we gotta talk about it. Because I don't want you to get down to talking that next year, and you guys like, oh, we don't talk about it, which it'll happen because people will tell us we don't talk about it this year. So, but seriously, I want to give you exposure because if you don't, then you're going to be in a world of hurt next year. The more you can like think about it now, the easier it's going to be next year. The answer was 3-1. Do you want to try another one? Let's do one more. I think that's only fair. That's only fair. Let's do it, says Kale. All right. I'm going to make it so you have to change it. Okay? Okay, so one of these you need to change. You have to change one of them. So you got to change to 1 to mx, y equals mx plus b. So which one would you change? The top one? Seems really simple, doesn't it? So minus 1x, minus 1x. It's going to look like this. That's step 1. Done for you. If you want, I don't care if you get up and talk to somebody around your group. I do not care.
That's right.
I think that's right. Help each other out. If you want me to help you, I will help you. You just gotta stop me. Okay, perfect. Yep. Yeah, that's yourself. How we doing over here? Okay. Yep, that's right. Okay, if you're done helping your partner, get back. If you're just going to talk, screw around and get back. So, if there was a number here too, from the Y, then we would distribute. But there's not a number there. You don't need to. Okay? If there's no number, I can just take this and just drop it right in there. I don't need to distribute. Hey, listen up, quickly. This is what I want you to do for tonight. I want you to try some for me. I just want you to try. Do not go on Slater and copy it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you points for doing it anyway. So if you're really stupid, you go on Slater and copy it. It's going to get you to practice it and try it yourself. Listen, the first 4 have an answer. The last 2 you're going to be confused about. That's okay because I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow. Try all of them. Try them. Do not go on Slater and copy. What's that? 8 through 13. Do not go on Slater and copy. Yeah, I think I do. I have a look. You, if you. Dude, am I still recording? You can stop.